Welcome back, everybody. We missed a President's Day. I hope you were reading any number of excellent presidential biographies. I feel like part of President's Day should be that you actually have to learn about the presidents and not just go find a sale on a car or a washing machine or take your kid to go see a movie. All things I'm guilty of having done, but I feel like it should be mandated that people should read at least a little bit about the presidents on President's Day or pick one. But anyway, we are back. We are here Monday, as always. We try to do it, so we'll be here next Monday. So here we are on Tuesday. And we have a very, very cool topic today. Depending on which side of this you're on, may ruffle some feathers here, but it's the topic is how much do you help your kids with a school project? And we can go by age, obviously, when we get into it. But with me here, my co-host, Art Eddy. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. Love this topic. And yeah, so we missed everybody on Monday, but we're glad we're doing the show today. And I don't know, do we go on Thursday now? Or do we go back on Wednesday as well too?
Maybe we go back. Maybe we go back to back, see how it works, or we can figure it out. We'll figure it out in post. Decide what the people want. But today's show, as always, as all our shows, is brought to you by the Life of Dad book. We talk about this almost every single week. You probably see it. Hi, Arlene. Welcome. As a first-time person here, you are mandatory that you buy the Life of Dad book. I'm just kidding. It does happen to be 20% off on Amazon. Pre-orders are huge for us. So if you are watching and you do enjoy the show, there are thousands of listeners across the world. Please hook us up and buy the Life of Dad book. So we can jump into today's topic, and I can explain where it came from, but write us in the comments where you're listening from. If you have any questions, anything you want to shoot in there, any ideas, please let us know. As always, we usually have a very, very vocal group of listeners here on the Lunch Break Show. So this came from Valentine's Day. I don't know, Art, I'll ask you. You have two daughters, older than my kids. Is this a regular thing every year? We've been doing it now. They have to make a box where all the kids – so in our school, each kid has to go to class with a homemade, decorated box, which is essentially a depository for, Valentine's cards. And every kid has to make one for every other kid, which I understand all that. But somehow the idea of a place to put the cards a while back became a highly decorated box that the kids have to do, which became a contest for moms, maybe dads, whatever, a contest for parents to put together absurdly intricate, highly developed boxes with trapdoors and foam hearts and cut out styrofoam spray painted things, where clearly parents were doing the entire project for their kids, and the little 8-year-old was walking in like, hey, look at this. So is this something you see as well in school projects in general, but is this a Valentine's thing for you?
I think more I think now, where the classes or the schools that I've been, my daughters have went to, those Valentine boxes were almost like busy work leading up to the holiday, because or maybe the day of, depending on, as they got older. I think they just kind of make a bag, like a brown bag, and oh, this is it. Or they'll take manila folder, staple it, and then put your name on a jar. Great. Or something like that.
Yeah,
there were some certain, maybe it wasn't for Valentine's Day, but I think it was for St. Patrick's Day. There was a leprechaun trap that we had to create, and going along with the lines of do you help your kids with your project? I might give them ideas, but I kind of want them to think of the idea. I think one time I was going full bore, where I almost did the push my kids aside, and I started working on it, but I was this is not helping. So I was no, right, you're gonna do it. And if you need my help, whether it's holding something in place, if they're taping something along those lines, I will do it. But I learned my lesson, where I'm all right, I want them to do this by themselves. And I feel if you help them out to the point where you're doing the whole thing, teachers are going to know.
Yeah, you're not even getting graded on this particular project. So welcome, Frogman. Thank you for joining.
A lot of new people, by the way. Thanks for checking out the show Tuesday, but thanks.
Yeah, this is great. Katie, thanks for joining. Hello from the UK there. So there's general projects that kids have that they're graded on, of course, which is one area of this conversation. And the second one is these Valentine's Day boxes, or if they're bringing something in for the teacher or something like that. And the Valentine's Day thing, I think, is a good litmus test, because you're not even getting graded on. So it's one thing if I guess I kind of understand parents going a little overboard if the grade actually counts. But again, I think in that case, the teacher should definitely dock the kid if the parent clearly did all the work. But for these kind of things, Yeah, I'm 100% on board of like, I will help. My son is, struggling long enough with grant saying. My son, he hasn't turned even 6 yet. Cutting is a pain. Like, so he kind of went through what he wanted.
Hold up. When you see them like at that age too, because I remember my kid, like when they're trying to cut something with scissors, and you're just like, "What?
This is the move. This is the greatest. I have scissors right here next to my desk. This is the move I don't understand. This is my son's move. I don't get it. Cut it, open it, push it on the paper, cut it, open it, push it on the paper. And nothing happens. He just opens it like that. Obviously, he's using kid scissors, but he opens it, puts the paper like right here, and then like closes it. Nothing happens. Then he'll just do it again. And I'm like, that's not how any of this is supposed to happen. But anyway, so he needs help. So I help him cut. Like he wanted to do like a dinosaur box. So I help him cut the paper. Like I only help him facilitate his vision, right? So when it's finished, it looks exactly like a 5-year-old box has like dinosaurs that don't look like dinosaurs cut out, like glue the way he wanted to glue it, like all that kind of stuff is good. And then we get to the bus stop and we get to school because I had to go for like a little Valentine's party. And some of these boxes, it's like, what parent? Why would you want to spend an hour of your night just so that your kid can be like, look at this? And I was I'll admit to kind of trolling some of the kids in the class a little bit. I was like, hey, did you build that yourself? No, my mommy did all of it. And I was like, yeah, it's surprising because it looks amazing what you did with the 3-decker box with the window that opens to put the cards in. Like, that's really fantastic. And, it makes the other kids like, Daddy, can I have that? And I said, no, you are making your own box. And you get put in these weird positions where you basically want to say, you did your box. It's representative of what you did. You put in the hard work, and this is 10 times better than you just waking up in the morning and me saying, here's your amazing box. And I think the kids need to learn that lesson.
100% agree. Because there are times the scissor thing was spot on, man. The scissor thing, because it's like, when my kids were in preschool and there were certain things that the preschool teachers would say, it's like, hey, couple of motor skills that you might have not thought about working with your kids. One was cutting with scissors. Get, some kid approved scissors, like, there's no points on the end. It's like, round. And there's other things like, tying a shoe and some other things where it's like, these are the things that you might not think about to teach them, but try and, even if you just take old like construction paper that you guys use and you're not using anymore, use that. Right. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, so parents who have kids who are getting to the age where they're going to like do their own crafts or do whatever they want with, some stuff at home with scissors, obviously supervised, of course. But I would just say like, work on like those cutting skills with the scissors, with construction paper or regular paper, whatever the case may be, because that goes away. I mean, that goes a long way in the long run. So I love that.
Yeah. And if you have kids who are older who can do some of that stuff, like my daughter is old enough to be able to cut and paste and draw, and she can write and she can do all that stuff. And Mike Dupree, like, yeah, that's kind of the way I was kind of like, what do you want to do? And she said, oh, I want to have a unicorn box and this and that. And I looked at it and said, go ahead. What colors? So like, there was a couple things she wanted to help with, like tracing like a cloud or, I'm there. I'm in the other room watching the Celtics game. I'm around. I can come in and, pinch hit and put it in, do some cutting or, draw something, or if you need help putting the unicorn horn on the thing. But like her box, I thought it looked fantastic. It looked like a really good job by a second grader who spent, a good 45 minutes to an hour trying to build their own thing. And her classroom was absurd. There's some of the stuff that they had in there. I was just like, what do you teach your kid? What the kid says, I want a unicorn box, and the equivalent of some other parents was, great, let me go fashion a unicorn out of my 3D printer, and the horn's going to open, and there's going to be a Trojan horse, and every time someone puts in a card, a Hershey Kiss falls out the butt, like all kinds of things. Yeah. I didn't understand it, and again, it puts you in these stupid spots where your kid looks at you like, how come I don't have that? And you want to say, because you're doing the work yourself, which is what you should do, and these other parents aren't doing their kid any justice. I know it sounds terrible because you're not judging, but in a way, you shouldn't do your kids' work. It's very simple, I feel like.
It would almost be like, if you think about it, it'd be like taking your kids, math homework and doing it for them. And they're like, Why would you do that, right? Because, well, why would I mean? Here's a couple things. A couple people, actually, a former teacher after Dead or Alive, aka Adrian Culp, who's from Dead or Alive, he says, and there's a lot of people that are agreeing with kind of Adrian's thought. I think it's a great opportunity to spend time and work together. Just have the balance of your inherent instinct to help and watch them succeed versus allowing them to be creative or breach creative barriers on their own. And then Chrissy says, as a former educator, I would make the family project family friendly, as and the focus was to promote family time together. That's great. Yes, they had specific things required for the subject, but I stressed to the parents to spend more time discussing and assisting and not doing it yourself. Spot on right there, Chrissy.
Chrissy, basically, that was my approach. We sat down beforehand. I had to do both the boxes. What do you guys want? My son, everything's dinosaurs. I wanted a Stegosaurus box. Great. What does that look like to you? I don't know. The sides are green. I want to draw a Stegosaurus on the side, some horns. All right, cool. So here's what you need to do that. Kind of lay the instructions out. My daughter with her unicorn thing, like that's what she wanted. So great. Okay, so let me help you. So I found a unicorn online. I printed it up so she could trace it and she could color it. She could cut it out. Like maybe where would a unicorn be? Like, oh, in the sky. Well, what do you have? Clouds. Okay, so then why don't you do that? Like, you're just helping them facilitate their vision, right? But when you get into class and you see a 3-story castle or like, a box with like 300 cut out 3D folded hearts that are all like, there's no way you're letting your kid do that. And in the end, they're having completely unrealistic expectations, the kid is, of what their projects are supposed to look like. I'm not saying any kids are mean, but like you can definitely see like, oh, you just cut yours out. Like I heard some snarky comments from the kids whose parents did it. And I want to I don't do it ever because who does, but you want to pull the parent aside and be like, are you happy? Like your 7-year-old is talking smack to my 7-year-old because they went to sleep and you did this whole thing and they woke up as if they did it. And my kid actually cut, I'm not saying my kids are anything great. I think 90% of parents are in this camp, but like it just makes it so that it's the same thing with a lot of issues where you're not doing anyone any favors by making sure that you've done all the work. You're not going to get gold stars or pats on the back for saying like, way to do all of your kids' work.
No doubt. We got Andy has got a long response. Dad, I only assist if my kids request my assistance. Otherwise, each of my kids are on their own. If they don't learn to do things for themselves, they'll never be able to do things for themselves in the future. I won't be there forever. I won't stunt their growth. Some of the kids in adult nowadays don't know how to do things on their own. I want to be. I don't want my kids to be in that statistic. Have a great afternoon. I appreciate everything that's kind of like bullet pointed. So thanks.
Yeah, no, that's good. And the key too is you got to let your kids problem solve. You have to let them. You can't just say like, even if my daughter said like, I want a unicorn. It's not like, great, I'll do that then. You have to say, what does that look like to you? Whatever the creative project is, if you're doing something for Thanksgiving or a history project or a science project, I think as parents, our natural inclination is to just do it and just we do with everything, especially when it's late and it's night and like bedtime's at 8 and it's 7:20 and it's like, here, just do this, right? Like you just want to do that, and I think that's part of the problem with like homeworks and homework sucking. Sometimes it like sucks the life out of me even already. Like when they get it, I'm sure you too. We have a whole homework episode where you just want to enjoy your evenings, and you've worked and they've worked and everybody's tired, and you come home from practice and you have your food, and then you're just like, oh, we have this project. And I get you just want to do it. Like you just want to get it done, and then the kids are up late, everybody's annoyed. But if you just let them problem solve, the projects will get easy.
Yeah, and for me, I always used to get my ish done, as my friend said in high school. Like I get my homework done or whatever the case may be right then and there. And I'm trying to teach that with my kids. And if there is a project, because most of the time teachers are good and like, hey, if there's something that takes a little bit of more than regular effort in regards to homework, they'll be like, hey, just check this out. This is coming up. Yeah. And so I'll say to them, I'm like, look, you don't want to leave this for the last day. I'm asking you to start it now or do the whole thing. I say, do me a favor. If it's a project where it's a craft or something you have to build, I'm like, because they like to draw, they like to color. I'm like, have some ideas, draw them out, and see if they, if it's feasible, and if you show me some drawings you want to do, great. We'll see if we can make that happen. But if they're like looking for that unicorn that shoots out, Hershey Kisses every time you open it up, which is a great idea, by the way, patent pending, Jon Finkel.
Yeah, I just made that up. You guys can use it.
I think, if there's certain things that are going to be easy to make, yeah, sure. Like, I'll help you out. But like, first I want them to draw it and, put their vision to some paper so they understand like the logistics of it. Because certain things, like, their imagination is great, but the tools and the talent that we might have in the house might not fit that mold unless we're, on like a movie lot and we've got like a huge budget.
It's what you have here to do. Like, you're not going to run over to some arts and crafts store and spend $50 on wireframe dinosaurs, and you can do all this stuff. Like, there's a part of me that's always like, man, we can do like, but let's just do that as a fun weekend project together with no grades. Like, but you just have to let them look at a blank page and put their mind to it and think what it's going to look like. And I think a lot of parents are like, I can crush this.
Yeah, and that's the thing where it's like, all right, hold the reins there and just calm down for a second. I think Dad or Live is pitching something that I could see you be on the very first episode. Adrian goes, I think I just found my next reality show pitch. Parents going head to head on grade school art projects. Dad bod Titan games.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. I think I would lose that because I don't want to do any of my kids' projects. I like the dad bod games though. I think you just shorten it to the dad bod games, and it's like, the 12-ounce curls. You get some of those contests up. I think it'd be good.
Nice. Craig saying, I stand back in the coaching do some coaching to help better, to achieve a better out than they achieve on the best. Sherry goes, middle school projects without help sometimes, where are we at? Sometimes look like elementary projects, but that causes more work and extra credit papers to keep those grades up. I can see that. But again, like, if you keep on doing the work for them over and over again, they're not going to learn, right?
And what you said about the homework thing, and a lot of parents were seeing the comments they're writing, and they kind of, you're there in an advisory role, right? It's almost like you're not even a head coach. You're kind of just like, you're a consultant. You're that guy Belichick has who no one really knows his name, but you're just kind of around to figure it all out, right? Like, you're that guy, and when something goes wrong, you're there to assist. If maybe they need more paper, you can help them find that. But the idea is to let their creativity shine if they have any, and to let them push through it. And I really don't understand the mentality of just taking over that part of them, because it's a muscle, right? Creativity is a muscle, and solving problems is a muscle. And if you just take that away all the time, what about the time where you're going to be work, or you're going to be out of town, or something's going to come up, or your kid's at school and the teacher says, your project was so brilliant, I'm going to put you in charge of doing this, but the whole thing takes place at school. What's your kid going to say? Like, oh, I need my mom to come to class to do it for me because I didn't actually do that myself. Like, come
on. Taylor says, your excitement will excite them. Get some sodas and popcorn, make it an event. Love it. Taylor, check him out over the Doodad. He, speaking of like building things, I bet when his kids get to be our age, he's going to have to bite his tongue. I mean, he's got these awesome ideas. I think he actually started up a contest with Chip Gaines. So it's pretty cool what he's doing. But yeah, I mean, he's a very crafty fella. Check him out. But you should make a video on that, Taylor, to see like how you're going to pull back the reins and make sure your kids do their work. But yeah, I think it's all about like just with everything with parenthood. Like, you want to encourage them. You don't want to be that helicopter parent. You don't want to be all around it, because then, like, again, like we said countless times in the show right now, if you're always there for them, it's not going to work out, because you're not, like, when they take tests or SAT or whatever the heck they take now. I don't think it's the SATs anymore. Maybe it is. I don't know. But you're not going to be there. You're not going to be at the window. Like, the answer's D.
Yeah. Well, what Taylor said is so important. Like, you have to get excited about what they're doing. So if you're approaching it like, oh, you have to do this dumb project, and you let them do it, right? And then they end up not wanting to do it themselves, so you kind of take over and make it not exciting and do the work for them. That's no good. But if you can instill some enthusiasm in them to do it, and they get excited on their own to do it, and you're just there like, I'm here, I got you, put on some music, go wild. If you need help, let me know. I'll be here for you. Like, I think that the enthusiasm and excitement part is definitely the way to go.
Here's another thing that we haven't even discussed, and I'm glad Brandon brought it up. Pinewood Derby. is where I see the worst case scenarios of dads wanting their sons to have the best and fastest car. It's rare the kids that win actually did the thing themselves. Pinewood Derby dads are the best and the worst, depending on your perspective. That's the thing. Because I've seen some dads, have these ideas and like, let's make this, let's make that. But if you work with your kids, you talk through the idea, but let them do it. Sure. But like, who knows what's going to happen if like you just make this sweet car, all of a sudden the kid wins. It's like, yay, nice job building a car. Well, it was actually my dad.
These competitions, I know it's not feasible at all, but they should have to be built. They should have to be built in like on site with the same. Everybody gets the same tools essentially and the same hardware, and the parents have to kind of supervise, but they all have to be done with the same set of instructions. That you can modify it or whatever. They don't have to use as much or as little or as aerodynamic whatever they want. But built on site, that would be an interesting way to do it. Like I've seen it. My kids aren't old enough yet with like science projects where they've started to have to do that. Like everybody has the same set of tools and infrastructure, and then the kids can build whatever they want, but they all have the same stuff to try it with, and they're all doing it there, and they're not coming in with it.
No doubt, man. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just like, as a parent, use your head, because sometimes your ambition is wider than like your parenting skill, because you want to be like, I have this idea, or like you even harken back to your days when you're like, oh, I so wish I would have had this project back. Like when I wish I knew then what I know now to make this project, because it would be killer. It's like, yeah, great, but don't put that on your kids, right?
Yeah, I have we all the famous like the volcanoes that are up in the science class, and then the Mentos and the soda, like. There's always the go-to projects and things, but now with like, I was never into erector sets or any of those kind of things, but I had a few science projects that when the time comes, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, I won't do the project, but I have some ideas, you know what I mean? I have some ideas that I think I could let my kids run wild with.
Yeah. And again, says, dads, thank you. Our society will benefit in the long run when we assist, but allow our kids to win-lose at their own attempt. Spot on. Andy, bring it. Love it.
Yeah.
And then Craig says, I got 3 boys, and so sometimes I'll be like, I don't know how much we can help each other. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, I guess it's okay if a sibling helps, for sure. It's a whole different ballgame. Like when they want to help each other out, it's kind of cute. They want to do that. But what Sherry's saying here is really important. You can't rob them of the feeling of accomplishment. That's the worst thing you can do, because they don't have that little adrenaline hit or whatever you want to call it, that little chemical spurt that goes on in their head when they do a job well done, especially if they didn't believe in themselves early on and they finally finish it, whether it's a project or hitting a baseball or riding a bike or whatever it is. If you make it too easy and you rob them of the ability to understand overcoming, you're basically taking away a big pillar of character, of work ethic, and all that kind of stuff. So think of it almost like you're punishing your kid by doing their work.
Exactly. And speaking of building character and all that, a lot of great character traits and a lot of great stories can be found in this book.
Yes. In fact, we're talking about doing things with your kids. Our good friend Adam Carolla has a fantastic story in there about how to build things that will last and leave an impression on your kid, instead of, as he says, just a useless bird feeder that no one's going to ever pay attention to. So yes, the book always easily tied back to the book. Please, for you first-time viewers, head over to Amazon, pick it up. It's the perfect Father's Day gift or present to yourself. It actually comes out May 7th, so we are doing heavy pre-orders now. We want to have the #1 fatherhood book in the country, which I think we will definitely have with our awesome viewership. But our goal is to get a fatherhood book at the top of the New York Times bestseller list. It has been a very, very long time since a book on dad celebrating fatherhood has had that distinction. So we appreciate everybody who's watching, support the show. And it's an amazing book. I mean, you're gonna get interviews and tips and tactics and strategies from everybody from Shaq and Ice Cube to Mark Cuban and Jim Cook, founder of Sam Adams. There's literally over 100 guys in this book. David Robinson, the Admiral. I'm just thinking of basketball guys now. Charlie Ward played for the Allen Houston. So many guys. So check it out. Link is in the comments now, and it'll be in the Facebook comments as well.
Oh, it's already in there, so check it out. And speaking of checking out, make sure you check out the show. Oh, speaking of that, I was just ready to ask to see if it's Amazon. You're on. Yes, we are. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it. Yeah, check us out tomorrow again because we did do the show yesterday. We did it today. We're going back to back. Hopefully, we'll have back to back home runs just like Ken Griffey Senior and Junior did back in the day.
Yes. Who is in the book?
So,
Ken Griffey Senior is in the book as well, and that's one of my favorite stories in the book. The lead up to the back to back, the first ever all time. Thank you, Craig. We appreciate it. If you're into baseball, anybody watching, Ken Griffey Sr.'s inside story in our book about what it was like when he got up to bat after Junior had already hit a home run is just, in terms of fatherhood pride, we all have our own things, but on that stage at that level, since it's never been done, it is a fantastic story, and he has some great tips about how to create your own memories with your kids. So that is also something on there. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate you buying it. Yeah,
and also, too, if you have any topics you want discussed on this show, the lunch break, Mondays and Wednesdays at 1 p.m., and also sometimes we'll do a follow-up on our podcast as well, the Life of Dad Show, download on iTunes. Feel free to email me, art@lifeofdad.com, to get some topics you want discussed, just to make sure that we have a conversation on all things dads care about. But for John and myself, we'll see you guys tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. Thanks for joining. We'll see you all later. Peace.
Thanks, guys.